I think one of the greatest things about Redhead is just the story that it tells. It tells that story of this area of the Iron Range and what has brought us success and life and business for many, many, many years. But now how we can reuse that and repurpose it to still bring us life and business and fun in a new way.
Well, we're in beautiful northern Minnesota, just outside of Chisholm, here at the Minnesota Discovery Center, the new home for the Redhead Mountain Bike Park. We're in a town of about 5,000 people. It's real small, real Minnesotan, you know, with your classic main streets and that small town feel.
Welcome to the Discovery Center. Let's go for a ride.
Well, you know, the Iron Range has long been known for its history in mining.
So the Pillsbury Pit, as it stands now, is basically cut in half by Highway 169. And so the Pillsbury family of the Pillsbury Doughboy fame invested a lot into iron mining. And they weren't the only big company or big family name. I mean, Rockefeller, Carnegie, Morgan, they all made their money from the ore up here.
It was because of that work that we won 2 world wars, that we're able to travel to New York and see some of the tallest skyscrapers in the country. That's the work of Iron Rangers, and we're really proud of that.
The iron ore mining industry means jobs for thousands of people in Minnesota.
But when the mines kind of idled or slowed down and we lost a lot of jobs, it was devastating.
That's our Iron Man statue, and it was commissioned to be built by the city of Chisholm in 1976. It took 11 years for that thing to be completed, and it's the 5th tallest freestanding statue in the United States.
People used to tell me when I would walk downtown Main Street that the big Iron Man that you see, the statue, a lot of these old timers would tell me that was going to be the tombstone of Chisholm, Minnesota.
Here on the Iron Range, we kind of like things the way they are. And that's not always a bad thing, but when something new comes to town, that shakes things up a little bit.
You know, you never know what's going to happen when there's a transition, but I think morale is still high, and you know, there will be changes, but it's a good thing.
You know, as the next generation, we want opportunity to carry on for our kids and our families. And so we have been, over the last 10 years, working hand in hand with our mining industry to bring new use to our land after mining.
I guess the story starts probably when I moved back to the Iron Range, which was about 2001. I'm originally from Upper Michigan, where there's just a really powerful outdoor recreation community. And there were elements of that here, but such a tremendous landscape that was, at the time, kind of behind the fences. It wasn't really something that was accessible to the general public. And so the idea was that, you know, could we do something with this unique landscape? And what could we do? What could we do that wouldn't encumber the future mining potential, which is, you know, the lifeblood of this region, but make something of the property at the same time? And mountain biking just emerged as the best use of the land.
We weren't the first people to look down at this abandoned mine pit and just be jaw-dropped about the potential to build these incredible mountain bike parks. Our friends over at Cuyuna led the way for us.
So we're here in downtown Crosby, where this amazing thing has happened over the last decade, where mining left and mountain biking came in and became kind of an economic driver.
It was basically an economically depressed area. Median income, $34,000 a year. You know, the best and brightest were leaving. They weren't staying because there wasn't much reason to. And then we opened up the trail, and pretty soon 12,000 riders came. And then over the years, they worked up to almost 40,000 riders a year.
I sat at my office right by Red Raven before they were there, and I would see the bikers coming to town and they'd leave town. And then I'm like, well, there's no money being spent in town because all they would do is leave. And that's when I started realizing it was just because we didn't have nothing for people to do. And if you put something here, then they stay here. Now it's like you see them walking up and down the streets and enjoying all the new shops that we have in restaurants and breweries and bike shops. So it's like we got to realize that it's coming and take advantage of it.
All these empty storefronts have now been created into new businesses.
We have an 8-cabin resort and 10 tent sites and 4 RV sites.
Since Cuyuna opened, there's 132 new jobs in this area.
Everybody thought it was a waste of everybody's time, and the trails were not good for the area. A lot of skeptics, and I was one of them.
Just as those guys worked the mines back in the day and created economic conditions for the town, now we've got guys working in the dirt to create trails, and the whole town has been able to prosper, and I think that's what's going to happen at Redhead.
Redhead has the potential to transform our downtown Main Street, to get new businesses up here, to get those breweries and coffee shops. You know, it's the diversification that's going to bring us far into the future and allow us to continue to call this part of northern Minnesota home.
There are a lot of people who don't really get it, because I think a lot of times people will just, oh, it's just an old mining pit, you know, we're just old mining towns or whatever, but we're not. There's great new potential for the future, and I really do believe that Chisholm has a bright, bright future ahead, and just so grateful to not forget the past, but just to be able to embrace it and use it in a new way.
We are a mining community. We appreciate the fact that that's why we're here. But to be able to reclaim that land and put it into a new productive use like we are here for recreational repurposing, I think that's the next opportunity for economic development, for quality of life, for attraction and retention of employees on the Iron Range here. So I think it's critical, to be honest with you.
I really didn't know what we were getting into. I knew that, you know, the Redhead site was focused on a number of old iron pits that were flooded. So what I knew is that we had a lake. But when I stepped onto the site and saw all the vertical red walls and the white trunks of the birches, my jaw literally just dropped. And I thought, this is not what I was expecting. It's so much more.
Typically, you know, one building company has been selected and they build all the trails, you know, on a project. And that might take years for them to build that project out. But the way it was conceived was to bring in a cadre of some of the best builders in the country and put them all to work simultaneously.
Their goal was to build 75 or 100 miles of mountain bike trail in 3 years. I thought, that's not been done before. Mountain bike destinations take typically 15, 20, 30 years to develop. And, you know, last year there wasn't a mile of trail, and this year there's 25.
Every foot of this trail,
Every inch of these trails,
is literally carefully designed,
purpose-built
constructed,
to maximize the engagement of the rider in the trail.
and will be maintained to make an absolute riding experience. It's a full immersion.
This isn't like your little rinky-dink trail that somebody scratched into the dirt. It is unlike anything you've ridden.
It's got features that look like the bluffs in Arkansas or the canyons in southwest Utah, but they were all made by really big machines digging a bunch of ore out of the ground.
When people come to the Iron Range, they know they're going to have 3 world-class mountain bike experiences.
Redhead is kind of the central focal point in the middle of the range, but we've got Giants Ridge and you've got Tioga.
We've created this really special region, and I think it's going to become national and international destination for people who are looking for this kind of an experience.
That's what we're looking for when we built out this park, is to create a mountain biking destination here in northern Minnesota.
You know, I've seen a lot of places around the country that have used mountain bike tourism to rebuild their economy. And I think that's the most exciting aspect to me about this project, is not that there's a bunch of people traveling here to visit and ride the trails. It's that the community grows around the trail system.
My favorite thing about Redhead is it's a community.
The most important thing for all of us to be able to do is have an area to play. If we can play together, of course we can work together.
I'm just so appreciative and thankful to have Redhead in our region.
Redhead is a hidden gem.
You won't find any place like this anywhere. Just a natural beauty.
Between the lakes and the cliffs and the rocks, there's just a lot of variety.
I like getting out on the trails and enjoying nature.
It's part of what the Iron Range is going to become more and more of.
You don't have to ask someone to go have an adventure. We're all desperate for it.
The potential here at Redhead Mountain Bike Park, it's endless.
You know, we've been able to put a real destination of a trail system on the ground here at Redhead, but there's more to come.
All the hardest stuff got built first, and so really the challenge here now is to find the funding to continue the phased build-out.
We've got some fantastic trails here, but you add some more to it, and that's when this place really starts to pop.
We're really developing what is going to be the country's premier summer mountain bike destination.
We want to offer an experience here at Redhead Mountain Bike Park that compares to nothing else.